this is our, we're just leaving home on our September 2024 on our, what we try to do every year is do a bit of run around somewhere, at least a decent trip once a year, and then little ones here and there in between. This time we're going down to Toowoomba because of a niece's wedding, and then from there we're going out to St George, our hometown, spend a bit of time there with the rallies and looking around there a couple of days, and then we end up out, keep heading out through Bolland, Thargomindah to Nakundra, back up round through Quilpie to Charleville, Barkall, Claremont, and back into Rocky. That way it's about 20 days, 3,700 k's, so I hope you enjoy the trip like we did. We just pulled up on the riverbank at Miles because I call out and see my cousin, he's not home, and we just sat up here and knocked the top off a beer, and they rang up and they're home, so we'll mosey out there and knock the top of another couple of beers probably. After we spent the night with Jimmy and Josie at Miles, at their place at Miles, and quite a few more beers. I haven't seen them probably for years, I don't know, 20 years or something, since all the kids were little. Now the kids are all grown up and got kids of their own. So anyway, we spent a bit of time with them, and then next morning we headed off to the next free camp in Toowoomba. That was on my other cousin's front lawn, footpath. And then we pulled up, parked there. The reason we were there was cross down the bottom end of the street, just over the hill there a bit, was my niece's wedding. So we had the wedding. That's a really beautiful place over there. Got all sorts of good stuff over there, but a bit expensive. Had a quick stop at Westmar on the way through. It's a little down the crossroads of the Mooney Highway and Mendara Tallwood Road, 116 k's or so from St George. Storyboard here about what the road used to be like when they founded it. It was the Anderson brothers owned the Western Transport and the Maranoa Transport companies, and they had a fuel depot there and a rest stop for their drivers. And I can actually remember that Western Transport when I was a kid at school, the old yellow B model Max, and I can remember that Mooney Highway being not as bad as the one in the photo, but really bad. The mud and ruts and washouts and bull dust holes and stuff. So that wasn't all that long ago. What was that, the 60s or so? That road was still fairly ordinary.
I'm going for a walk down here. Have to go a bit further. Can't hear a word he said.
I think you said you go down here and then I can see what's going on.
Oh, righto.
Whether he gets back up.
Here, just stand here.
Yeah.
Stand there, sorry.
Stay back at that.
Yeah, that should do, I think, isn't it? Just past the tree. Yeah.
That'll probably do.
That'll probably do, don't
There's the old fry, they go full of that. Yeah, I get set up on the sister's lawn on the riverbank here. She's got a pretty spectacular sort of a spot here. That's the Ballon River down below there. We get set up and have a beer or two, and in the morning we'll go up and have a look at this Stevie the Greek and his unique egg up down there. We'll go and check him out. See what else is around the place too. Go down the winery and have a look there, and a bit of a look around St George and see how things have changed since I was a kid here 50 years ago, whatever it was. 60 years ago even, might have been. Long time anyway.
In a modest room at the rear of the Ballon Sports Store in Main Street of St George, you'll find Unique Egg. It is unique as it is the world's only display of handcrafted, illuminated emu eggs, which has been gifted as far as the White House. It all started over 60 years ago in 1954 when a local character and artist, Steve Margaritis, or as fondly known by some of the locals, Stevie the Greek, started carving eggs. No other artist in the world carves eggs this way. He has carved an amazing variety of patterns and scenes on each egg and has illuminated them. It is a must to be seen. Stevie is getting on in age now, but his daughter is carrying on the family tradition and is now carving eggs. But Stevie also has written his biography called A Unique Man. It is a very interesting read, from the horror of his war-ravaged childhood in Greece to becoming a successful businessman and artist right here in the little town of St George.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive the way he carves these eggs, and other people carve them, but they don't have the lights and stuff in behind them, and the gallery's got them set up in. It's pretty spectacular too. Really makes them jump out. And he's got a gun shop at the front, sell little rifles and ammunition, all that sort of shit, and a good coffee shop, which when we were there, the daughter was running next door, and it's not a bad coffee shop either. It's well worth a stop if you're in St George, right in the middle of the main street. It's easy to find and well worth a look. From there, we went out and had lunch down at the River Sands Winery, which is just on the outskirts of St George, just more or less right on the edge of town, down on the Ballon River. And run into the mate where we're going out to next, and he's got visitors over there from America, so we might be able to tee up a trip to America. There's one girl there reckons if we get over there, we'll hire a bus and take us all over the place, so that'd be good to hold her to that, but then don't think we'll have the money for that anytime soon. We'll just sit here and have a nice lunch at the winery, see if we can buy a bottle of wine or something. This is where we used to swim as a kid. As a teenager, we used to come down here. Mate lived just up on top of the hill there. We used to come down and swim in this all day, and it's about
waist deep, I suppose. Used to be then, I suppose, it's still the same. And a real sandy bottom. They just and boats and try and tip them over, and yeah, just spend hours and hours and hours swimming in there.
He's named Murray and the sculpture was Don Cross 2019. And he's a Murray cod. And he's made out of all sorts of stuff. Yeah. See how many things you can find. There's gate hinges there, there's shears, the cutting edge bolt there, spanners, bolt things, we've got most of them. Vice grips. Oh, that's a good one there. Ear marking pliers, fan blades, drill bits, all sorts of stuff. I think the story was he was sponsored by the council. And that corner there used to go, road used to go straight out off that way. And out over there 75 mile an hour and only H Holden, so that's about 130 k an hour. Straight out, straight out off there. The road used to go across there a bit. It used to be called Speedy's Leap. Now it's all what do you call it? Politically correct now. We used to swim in there, down under that river, under that bridge, in those bays down there. When the water was running hard enough, you go down to the bottom of the bay, it's about 6 foot deep. The water will take you back in on the bottom, and then you touch the wall inside and you come up underneath the waterfall. And then you dive back out, feet first, and the current will take you back out and get your feet on the end of the wall and stand up above it. About 8 inches wide, I think it is, 6-8 inches. Hang on, get around the other side of this thing. So we used to swim in there all day, and if the wash over the outside of it on the bottom, it's all broken bottles and rocks and wire and all sorts of stuff. And then we used to climb out that ladder, where that ladder is on the end of the thing. Climb up there, go along there, and jump into the water. And then one day when the river dried right up, the big drought, there was a big concrete thing down in there, a couple of bays further over in the middle of where we were jumping. So if we'd have jumped in the wrong bay, we'd probably been in trouble. Built in 1953, I think it was. And they just had the bridge across there. The old one down in here got washed away. And they just put that one up, and the water came over up to the handrails. And then the last big flood, that went clean under the water. But this is where I used to spend a hell of a lot of my teenage years down here. Swimming in the river. And that was quite a few years ago. Used to walk down here with no boots from the other end of town, swim all day, and then walk home again, all day boot on. Then we'll get over this side and have a look. Get run over by a roo shooter coming down here. Spotlight on top. There's the heaps of roo shooters here. So we used to go down to this thing here, and climb up on it, on that post out there. They've altered this end, but they used to be. Oh no, no, no. Yeah. Oh yeah, I see what they've done. They got that steel catwalk over there. Well, that didn't used to be there, so we'd climb up on top of that concrete post there and jump into the water about 10 foot deep in there. That's before all these weeds weren't here. And you jump in, hang on to an old car tube and jump off there into the water, and then the car tube would stretch out and shoot you back out of the water again. And then they'd go in underneath the floodgates. When the floodgates were open, they'd go down at the gate, the water suck you underneath the thing, but it was too wild for me, that one. So, now I'm not even allowed to swim anywhere near it. Kids are too fragile now. Anyway, I'll go somewhere else to have a look here. Read that for me, though. Read that. What did you say?
Oh, I said that was, they had 3 floods in 3 years, 2010, 2011, 2012, and then only 2 years after being in the highest ever recorded level, that was the 2012, the mighty Balonne River was reduced to a mere trickle by the relentless hot dry summer of 2014, so unreal, isn't it? And they say down here where prior to the peak, local contractors took just a day and a half to construct a 5-kilometre temporary levee. It was a race against time as the flood waters were rising due to record floods in the Maranoa River, which had inundated Mitchell and caused devastation in the Begonia district. That's the one they confiscated Daryl's excavator or whatever.
The contractor there was Daryl, was your brother-in-law. Yeah. And there's the bridge from the same sort of view. That one there, that's the old original one, built in 1900. What happened there, that's that was in 1877. And there's the original bridge in 1911. This one here. That's what the river was like before that weir was put in. That's the sort of water there that I was talking about before. We used to swim in that when we was kids. And down the bottom, downside of the river there, when the water's running like that there, we used to swim those trees up in there. We used to swim up in the top of them trees. There'd be that much water down there. They'd just jump in the river and go down the hill till you caught a tree. If you didn't catch one, you'd end up doing bad.
They had floods in everything. Yeah, up the other year. Major floods in the Shire, 1942, 1956. Yeah, that was 1864. It said that the Mooney and the Maranoa Balonne rivers joined to form a sheet of water 25 miles, 40 kilometres wide.
Where was that at?
I know.
Can't say.
The police barracks were swept away, and with the alteration to the riverbank at St George, Surveyor Austin was brought in to realign part of the terrace. And down there, yeah, the rivers rise there. So yeah, Boomba. That's Lost Mumbra's Boomba. Whatever. I can't get over that.
It's your flood level marker. Holy dooly. Look where the bridge is, but the bridge is right on the bottom. I didn't know that either. Now there's the bridge. Yeah, there. Nah, can't see the bridge. Oh, you can if you know where you're looking. Says it looks higher than that though. Couple of kilometres down there. Gazebo thing over there, that must be. I don't know what that one is. The golf course is further back up this other way. Can't really see that because the sun's shining in its eyes. No?
Way up there. To there. Yeah, that's way up there. Then back in 1950.
That's the bridge. That's the bridge. That's the road level there. So now the floodgates are open. And that's the bridge, which is the bottom rung on that totem pole there. Yeah.
So they class 10. Big gap, isn't it, between years of flood? You look between the 1990s.
The 1954 one, I can sort of not really remember because I was a year old, but I've seen photos of it. Yeah. And that's the third one on this side. And then when you go right at the top of that post, that sun was in a better place, it might be able to see it better. That's 2012. Okay. The one underneath 11, 10, 11, and 12.
So majors, anything from 10.7 over. So that's 96 and 56. That's what we call the number 2.
See if we can get any better pictures around this side. My sun not shining in the eyes properly. Hey, pretty high. A lot of water. This is our camp number 2, just about to pack up. Started raining last night, whatever. And that is new van, maiden voyage. There's the owner of the show. Guard dogs.
Oh, rightio, it's showground. Showground, well, HAN Street. It's behind the showground, behind the information centre would be?
No, the
showground's just there near the hospital.
Oh, just up here. Oh.
Just
yeah,
up.
so go down, like, down the front of and then out the front of the showground.
This is my sister's place. Right on the Ballon River.
So just go straight down between the hospital and the showground and go around there.
That's the mighty Ballon River that washed us St George away 2012, where it was, 11. And the water come all the way up to a metre and a half below the level of the ground here. There's a hell of a lot of water running down that gully. They're all coolibah trees. It's other sister's place next door, and the burnt down one on the other end was me Catherine's son. A week ago, fortnight ago, and his house, shed, cars, 200 series, ski boat, all sorts of shit all burnt to the ground. And don't know why yet. There's an electrical fault, I reckon, in the shed. I burnt the shed, the house, the lot, the office, everything. It'll be a major drama, sorting all that out now. But anyway, we're just about to pack up and move to the next one. Time to move out of here without falling in the riverbank. Yeah, I gotta go and get mine out.
Oh, Jack! Whoa! Thing's dragging.
This is my nephew's workshop. That's his carpet cleaning truck he just got built. In carpet cleaning business, he does a pest control. Is his main game, but he just got that set up. And that in there is a ski boat. In there somewhere. There's the drawbar off it. There was a ski boat in there, that was his water tanks. Awning. And that's all these chemicals are in there apparently, and then this one. There was 200 series Toyota sitting in there. Apparently a really good one. Electric hoist up there. And that out the other side was his house. So I went from the shed out into the house out there. Yes, filing cabinets and all the tools. There's toolboxes and bolts, and look at all the shit lying in there. Yeah, that thing there, apparently they've only just got that built, they only just finished doing it. And then during the fire brigade's incompetence, that burnt his office down as well. Apparently that was on fire there, and I tried to get him to, don't worry about that, just concentrate on keeping the office safe. And I wouldn't do that, so he burnt the ground too. That's all these computers, and mate, it's going to be one hell of a job. I want to sort that back out again. This pest control business goes all the way out to Colomulla, all over, but you know, the franchise, and they just change the franchise. Jesus, asbestos fire, bro. So now he doesn't know if he's going to rebuild it or what. He and his missus were both away. There's not a whole lot left. There's obviously the bathroom in there. They had it done up pretty nice too. It was an just an old shed thing. So that was the beer fridge. And that there, wooden chair, is not touched except for this bit here. Mine with 20,000 gallon plastic tanks there, they just exploded. Yeah. And then the fire brigade went down there to get water out of the river and a bit bogged down in the paddock, and just total incompetence from the fire brigade mob. It was unreal. And that's part of the boat. The big ski boat trailer. Yeah. I think that donga there, I think is some of his workers stayed in it, I think. Not sure, it doesn't smell real good either. Still. That's about a fortnight ago. Yeah. Old Land Rover down there. The fire even got out the end of the lawn. Catherine said that's where the fires were standing there. So I didn't have a whole bunch of water going on. Yeah, well, got a drama ahead of him getting that sorted out. Alright, where are we going next?
I don't know. That way?
How about Rose Hill? Have a look at the cattle and stuff out there.